Many years ago, when I started line managing a small team, there came a time when I had to provide feedback to one of the team members on a particular task they had completed. And they just looked at me like I was speaking a different language. I ended up just upsetting them, and the problem was not resolved at all. In my mind, I was trying to help and be honest, but they became defensive and shut down on me. I completely messed up. And here's what I've learned after 20 years of managing people. If your feedback feels like it's falling flat, or worse, causing tension, it's probably not a delivery problem. It's a baseline issue. My name is Marcel. I'm a chartered manager, and for the last 2 decades, I've been honing the art of giving feedback to avoid situations like the one I just described. In this video, we're going to break down how to give performance feedback that actually lands. We'll discuss how to establish a proper baseline, why most feedback often goes wrong, and how to avoid the common pitfalls that managers frequently fall into. Because giving feedback isn't just about being honest, it's about being useful. Most of managers either overdo it or just don't do it at all. Here's the reality when talking to someone about their performance. If you haven't set a clear baseline, your feedback will feel arbitrary. It will feel personal and aimed at the employees, not the problem. People will wonder, based on what? Compared to who? Are you just winging this? And they are not wrong. Imagine coaching someone on how to swim faster when they don't know if they're in a race, a triathlon, or just doing laps for leisure. That's what it feels like when we give performance feedback without a clear vision of what success really looks like. The baseline is the standard. It's the definition of done, the outcome that matters. Let's say you lead a customer support team. The baseline might be resolve 90% of support tickets within 24 hours while maintaining a 95% satisfaction score. Boom, clear. So if someone only closing 60% on time, now the feedback has a shape. It's not personal and it's not vague. It's measurable. The baseline doesn't tell people exactly how to work. It just defines what needs to be achieved. It's the target on the dartboard. There's a danger in telling people how they must achieve the target. If you're too specific about the route and means, you may constrain their way of working and end up as a micromanager. So set the target, but leave enough room for people to achieve it in their own way, allowing them to manage their own workload. And once that's clear, you can help them improve their aim. Most performance feedback falls for 3 reasons. It's too vague, it's too late, it's too emotional. Let's break those down. Number 1, too vague. It's saying things like, hey, you need to be more proactive, but what does that even mean? Do I need to speak up more, take initiative, finish work early, talk to other people? The feedback like that just causes stress. Instead, tie it to the baseline, saying, last week we missed our 24-hour resolution rate because 2 tickets sat untouched for over a day. One of them was yours. Going forward, I'd like you to check the queue twice a day for unassigned tickets and pick one if you're free. Now, that's feedback they can do something with. Number 2, too late. If someone only hears about the problem during their annual review, you've waited way too long. Feedback should be continuous. Quick, informal conversations, weekly check-ins, debrief after big projects. Think of it like course correction. You don't wait until the plane is 500 miles off course. Just adjust as you go. Number 3, too emotional. When you give feedback while frustrated, it shows. Oh my gosh, I would even go further and say that if you feel you need to share feedback while frustrated, you must do it later. People stop hearing the message and start reacting to the tone. Instead, pause, get clear on what actually needs to change. Tie it back to the baseline. Again, we're going back to the same old scenario. Tie it back to the baseline. Don't say, you keep screwing this up. Say, this task has a high error rate. We're aiming for 98% accuracy. Let's walk through how we can tighten this up. This is not about coddling people. It's about being effective. And moving away from being emotional and personal will raise your professional standard as a manager. Okay, let's get practical and see how we can give constructive feedback that actually works. Here's framework you can use. Context, observation, impact, expectation, and offer. I'm sure it's got a clever acronym, but the reality is management is not about learning those. Write it down somewhere, use it several times, and it will become a second nature. If you have kids, you probably already use it anyway. We start with context. Set the scene. It can be As easy as saying, last Thursday during the team presentation, that's it. Now comes the second point, observation. State what you noticed. You interrupted Sarah 3 times while she was speaking. Number 3, explain the impact. That made it harder for her to get her points across. And it changed the tone of the room. Go into expectations. Be clear about the standard. In future presentations, I like everyone to let each other finish before jumping in. And then number 5, offer. Support the change. If you're unsure how to take notes while waiting your turn, I can show you a few tricks that help me. Now, this isn't a script. You don't have to follow it word for word, but the structure keeps you focused. It grounds your feedback in specifics, ties it to outcomes, and effectively leaves room for growth. And remember, feedback can work 2 ways, so be ready for listening too. Let's talk about some red flags to watch out for. Making it personal. You're lazy, you're disorganized. No, feedback should be always about actions and outcomes and never about identity. Say, the report was 3 days late, which pushed back the whole timeline. What I did here is I pivoted from a person, you, to the problem. Late report. Number 2 is dumping everything at once. Don't save up 6 months of annoyance and unload them in one go. People get overwhelmed and defensive. Stick to 1 or 2 key points. Give them time to absorb and respond. There are so many companies that treat feedback as an annual opportunity to deny pay rise or progression that it sometimes really makes me cross. Feedback should build. Number 3 is giving feedback in public. Unless it's a praise, you keep feedback private. People need psychological safety to hear tough things. No one wants to be critiqued in front of peers. And number 4, skipping the follow-up. One and done feedback very rarely sticks. Circle back, a week later, ask, hey, how's it going with the new approach we discussed? That shows you care and that you're paying attention. This is the difference between an accidental manager and a true professional. Look, most people want to do a good job. They don't need to be torn down. They need to be shown where the gap is and how to close it. And that only works when the target is clear. So before you give your next bit of feedback, ask yourself, have I made the baseline clear? Because once people know what great looks like, the feedback becomes a tool, not a threat. And your team, they stop fearing feedback. They start asking for it and giving it too, because they know it helps them get better. That's how you build a culture of growth. Thanks for watching. If this helped you out, consider subscribing. We've got more coming on practical management, leadership, and actually being good at your job without burning out. See you in the next one.